Guys, what's going on? This is a Club the Man 1993 coming at you for a late night review of Monday Night Raw from the October 16th, 2017 episode. Sorry, I've had a little bit of a rough day today, so I just wanted to, to take some time just to, soak this episode of Raw in. It was the go home show for the TLC episode of the TLC pay per view coming up on this coming Sunday. So we got what we got tonight, and overall, this really wasn't a strong go home show. It's really making TLC look kind of pointless. It's just a bunch of pointless matches, not too many title defenses. Actually, really think about it. Only title defense I believe we got two: the Cruiserweight Championship and the Raw Women's Championship. Now for a TLC pay per view, I know some people don't really like it being overloaded with stipulations, but you think with it being the TLC pay-per-view, it'd be overloaded with stipulations. At least, we get a ladder match, a tables match, a chairs match, but we're getting a TLC match. But we're not. We're just getting just a 5-on-3 TLC match, which features the Shield, and everything else is just singles matches. No stipulations at all to it. I mean, there's the Demon Finn Balor taking on, the Sister Abigail Bray Wyatt, which that's kind of goofy. But we'll see how the show goes on Sunday. Hopefully it should be better than Battleground. I'd say hopefully, that main event, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to lead to. But hopefully it still at least, leads to something that we can talk about. And yes, I really wanted Mickey and Alexa to be a ladder match. I felt it would have worked very well into the story, but that's not the direction they're going. Halloween Demon versus Bray and Drag. Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that segment when we get to that. Thanks for joining me live, TN Couponer. But we start off with Monday Night Raw with Kurt Angle coming out, just pretty much hyping up TLC. And Raw was in Portland, Oregon tonight, by the way. And then we did hear the Sierra Hotel Echo Lima Delta Shield. But it wasn't, because I noticed, Roman Reigns' theme song, The Truth Reigns, was a little bit different from the Shield's original theme song. Probably had a couple instruments taken out. So it was a little awkward at first hearing it just being the whole Sierra Hotel Echo Lima Delta India Delta, whatever. I got it mixed up. Come out and then just have this range music instead of just, the original Shield music being played. So I thought it was a little weird, but, it still felt cool. It gave me chills seeing them come down, in the old gear they used to wear. And yes, this is 2014 right here. That was the year of the Shield. Or 2013 as well, since that was the only full year that they were together. 2012 they debuted. 2013 they got for a whole year. 2014 was the year that they split in June 2nd, 2014. But still, it was pretty cool to see them come down here. And they did tease at looking like, the Shield may have possibly gone into laying attack on Kurt Angle. They're teasing it, but I didn't think it was going to happen. So they get into the ring, and Kurt's like, you want to talk? You want to hear from the Shield? So they came out there, and then they said they had to say, and then eventually the Bar, the Miz, and Braun Strowman all came out. But then Kurt said, "This is not going to happen. You guys are going to get your comeuppance on each other tonight." As we already knew that Braun Strowman was going to be taking on Roman Reigns inside of a steel cage, and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were going to defend their tag titles against the Bar, which I was like, this match would be fun, but how many more times are going to get opportunities? Because, the Bar already lost to them twice. I didn't quite see why they were deserving of a third opportunity, because I felt like they had already proved they can beat them, but I'm like, whatever, these are going to put on a good match. I look forward to seeing that. So that pretty much just set the stage for tonight's episode of Raw. Then we had this really pointless six-man tag match. It was Elias and the club taking on a team of Apollo Crews, Jason Jordan, and Titus O'Neil. Before the match, Elias came out with the guitar, and then the club was going to be singing with them, but most of it was just them doing a mic test. And they were just like nerd, 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 because that's all the club could say. They're not just a dominating team that just beats everybody up. They have to bring comedy to the club, which I think this was a trying effort, but it didn't really sit well with me. It wasn't really that amazing. And the match itself was also pointless as well, but Apollo Crews got the victory here with the spinning sit-down power bomb. So I was glad to see Apollo get a pinfall victory as well. So I'm not going to crap on that, but still, this match is kind of pointless. And then we had a match. It was Cedric Alexander taking on Jack Gallagher, which it was announced also that there's going to be a tag match. It's Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander taking on the Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher at TLC this Sunday. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the pre-show. And yes, Tian Couponer, I want to see the club just kick butt as well. But nope, you got to bring in the comedy side of them. Don't bring back the old day, though. Let's not talk about that. Or the Doctor skips from last year. But that was the worst. But now they're just going around calling people nerds. That's the best way we can, book this team who are legendary over Japan. Anyway, though, the match between Cedric Alexander and Jack Gallagher, it was okay. I don't know. I this whole heel Jack Gallagher, this is the first time they really introduced it on Raw since Gallagher turned heel, because 205 Live doesn't seem to exist anymore on Raw except for the title matches. But the match was all right. I'm still not too big of a fan of Jack Gallagher, though, wrestling in dress clothes as a heel. I don't know. It seems like it's kind of limiting him in the ring a little bit for what he could do before. He's just really slow moving. Alexander, though, does get the victory over Gallagher, but it's set for the tag match this Sunday between Alexander, Swann taking on Gallagher and Kendrick. So this match was whatever. It was all right. Nothing was too spectacular. We then had a Miz TV segment with special guest Braun Strowman. And also Curtis Axel was there as well. They were just, trashing on the Hounds of Justice. And Strowman, mentioned how last week, the Shield triple powerbomb him through the table, and he promised that he would bring the pain to the Shield at TLC. And then the Miz, though, because this was advertised for Braun Strowman to be the guest on Miz TV, but he did also mention how Dean Ambrose has said, he would, him playing, mind games and, being a match manipulator that he is, saying that, Ambrose said he'll take on as many people as he wants. That's why we got to add a fourth member in Braun Strowman. So member number 5 is, and they're about to, and then Kurt Angle was like, whoa, Miz. I gave you make it a 4-on-3. I'm not making it a 5-on-3, which again, I was still a little time. I'm like, I don't know. Like, again, this whole thing with it being, over a handicap match is just still that bad taste in me thinking, oh, they're just for Roman's sake. But you know what? I'm still trying to give it a chance. I still think it'd be an awesome match. But then Kurt came out and raised the stakes for tonight's main event. Well, first he said that, everybody's banned from ringside in the 2 matches involving the Shield and the Miz's team, which is the tag title match in the main event. But he said in the main event, if Braun Strowman is able to beat Roman Reigns inside the steel cage, then he will grant Miz's request, and they will add a 5th member. And yes, the Miz shows tonight on Raw why he is so smart on Tian Couponer. And you know what? That's what makes him an effective heel. He may not be the best in-ring performer, but there's so much truth, and he is successful with his manipulations as well. But anyways, Angle set the stakes for it. If Braun Strowman wins, then Miz's request will be granted, and they will get a 5th member into their team. It'll be a 5-on-3 match. But if Strowman loses, then it'll be just back to 3-on-3 with Strowman out of the match. So the stakes were set high for this match. And we all kept thinking, there's going to be Axel being added to the match. Because personally, I felt if, they were going to, have, Miz and the Bar team up, isn't it more? Isn't like Axel or even Dallas would be like upset that the Miz would rely on them to help him, take out the Shield as well. I mean, at this point, it felt like the Miz being involved is kind of pointless, but it's whatever. But I gotta give him the Miz credit how good his promos are because he always tells the truth in his promos, even though he's the heel, but it's believable. So this segment wasn't too bad. Set the stakes for later on tonight. We then had this really pointless match. We're going to get a rematch for this on the pre-show on Sunday. Just to probably have just have a pre-show match. I want to find pointless because these two are fighting over because Alicia Fox claims she did not tap out in the elimination match. She who faced Asuka last week. Yeah, so they had the match. The match was whatever. Sasha did eventually win with the submission, and backstage she was being interviewed, but then Alicia Fox attacked her, and then officials came in to stop her, but Alicia went as far as pushing a referee. It was announced later on Raw that she was eventually fined. I don't know why we're doing another match on the pre-show at TLC. It's so pointless. I keep saying I'm not that big of a fan of Alicia Fox, and this whole thing's just pointless. Just setting up a random match because most of the matches that are on the pay-per-view this coming Sunday were just like set up just at the last second. There's no build to this at all, and I just really had no interest in this at all, and I probably won't care at all on Sunday. Going into this match with Alicia and Sasha, and Alicia wants a t-shirt apparently also. And then we had a little pity party. Enzo Amore came out talking about how he lost the Cruiserweight title, and he's accusing Mustafa Ali and Kalisto from stealing it from him. And then Kalisto came out. I don't know if things was as bad as Lucha things, but this promo just stunk. Like he was getting lost for words. He kept going back and forth in Spanish and English, and then he made it seem that he was going to become the new Cruiserweight champion on Sunday, and it just did not make sense. Again, Kalisto really messed up on this promo. I mean, I think he's a good talent in the ring, but his promo skills are just not really there to make him effective. TN Couponer in the live chat says playing my small violin for Enzo. But anyways, now then what happened though at the end, this didn't make sense. And I probably said this last week too, but Enzo was pretty much saying how how it feels like how it feels to have a target on your back. Now it's on Kalisto. And then like all the heel cruiserweights, or most of them, came out. It was Drew Gulak, Noam Dar, Arya Daivari, and Tony Nese was attacking Kalisto while Enzo was just making fun of him and mocking the crowd as well. Mustafa Ali came out to try to save Kalisto, but he got taken down as well. But the heels came out top. We got a lot of "We Want Neville" chants, but Neville's not there because he apparently walked out. Which personally, this is the moment where I'm thinking, I really wish Neville was here. If he would have came back, he would have gotten a big pop. But heck, whenever he does come back, he's going to get a big pop because they made him into a baby face pretty much. But he didn't come back. But yeah, the thing that just bothered me about this segment, though, is that why was there people helping Enzo? Like, why has Enzo been making some friends as of late? And it didn't make sense to me because nobody was happy at the beginning whenever Enzo won the Cruiserweight title, but now he's being helped out from Arya Daivari, Drew Gulak, and the heels on the Cruiserweight division. It just did not make sense at all. So whatever. I mean, the stuff that Enzo said was pretty good, but again, just the attack on Kalisto and Mustafa Ali just didn't make sense to me at all. But then we had probably the match of the night, in my opinion. It was the Raw Tag Team Championship match. It was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins taking on The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. It was a very strong match. And then Rollins was being worn down most of the match, and Ambrose got the hot tag. And Dean Ambrose, especially with this Shield gear on, he just seemed like he was back in his element tonight for some reason. Like it just seemed like he was having fun again, and he just didn't seem like he was like as bored as he was. He actually felt like the old Dean Ambrose talking. General Veers, they didn't have a match. Enzo didn't have a match tonight. He just had just that segment with Kalisto. It's pretty much just type how he's going to take the cruiserweight title back from him, and Kalisto got ambushed. Randy Orton the RKOs as well. But anyways, getting to the Raw Tag Title match. It was pretty good. Again, fast pace. Bodies going everywhere. I don't know. I say maybe their SummerSlam match was just a little bit better. They retained the titles though when Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on I can't remember. I think it was Cesaro. I think it was for the victory. So they retain, but this was still a great match. I did like the spots though when Sheamus did fling Rollins into the air, and then Cesaro had one of those nasty uppercuts on him, and it was a cyclical move, but it wasn't enough for the bar to win the match. But it was still a good match from what we got. I still think maybe their SummerSlam match was their best match they had, but all three matches, hats off to Cesaro, Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose. You guys put on some really good tag matches as well. And then we had this Finn Balor responding to Sister Abigail from last week. He talks about how he's not afraid of Bray Wyatt, but then he did get a different view after that awkward promo by Bray Wyatt about Sister Abigail, which they showed the promo again last week, and they edited out the woman's voice and just had Bray's in there. It sounded terrible. The special effects though in this segment was all right, but it's still just it makes it feel pointless because Bray is talking about the same thing. He's going to bring out the demons inside of him as well, and they kept transitioning back and forth to like an orange face demon. So pretty much it's obvious that it's going to be Demon Balor, Finn Balor versus Bray, Sister Abigail, Bray Wyatt. It's a demon taking on a woman, pretty much. It's weird. It sounded like a childish promo that Balor was cutting. So just finish up this feud on Sunday, and we'll see what happens. And then we had a women's tag match. It was Emma and Alexa Bliss taking on Mickie James and Bayley. I will not lie, with this match is made official, and they didn't really hype up like too much of a tag partner for Mickie James, but I slightly was hoping that it could have been Paige, but it's not going to be Paige because I hadn't heard rumors that Paige is going to be going to SmackDown when she returns. So I was expecting Bayley, and sure enough, it was Bayley. But I'm not going to complain. The match was average. It was all right. The match came about whenever Emma was being interviewed backstage about her match this Sunday against Asuka, the debut in Asuka on the main roster. And then, Alexa Bliss pretty much say, you don't get yourself a break. Why don't we get revenge on Mickie? The two of us get revenge on Mickie and a partner of her choice. So they teamed up. The match again was, it was all right. It was average, nothing too spectacular, but it wasn't too terrible either. I just wish that they, like you said, beginning of the TNT part, they would have made this the build for this match between her and Alexa and Mickie have been good, but Asuka and Emma just looks like it's gonna be a squash match because they haven't really. Because when Emma won the opportunity last week, it just seemed like it just happened. It's like, that's it. Nothing really spectacular happened to make Emma look strong going to that match. So it's probably going to be an easy squash match for Asuka against Emma. So hate that theme music they have for her. The "It's All About Me" and that makes me sick. But yeah, I wish they would have made a ladder match, but still should be a solid match. Mickey's looked better in the ring as of late recently after doing nothing with her for quite some time. So we'll see what happens on Sunday when Mickie and Alexa go at it. And then we had our main event. It was Roman Reigns taking on Braun Strowman inside a steel cage match. Felt good to see these two in a match together again. They had a great feud throughout most of the first half of this year. Before the match, though, earlier in the night, Axel was saying how he needs Braun to win because he wants to be in this match at TLC, especially since it's in his hometown, Minneapolis, Minnesota. He said he wants to fight. He'll even go fight Roman Reigns right now. And Braun's like, well, go do it then. And Axel was showing some hesitation. And they're like, oh, you're scared of Roman Reigns? Well, we can't have someone on our team who's afraid of Roman Reigns. And he's like, you know what? I'll prove you guys wrong. And what I didn't like was they had Axel walking to find the Shield. They find him and starts walking to them. And then they just cut to commercial. And that's it. I'm just like, really? You're getting to the best part. You just like cut it like just like that. It wasn't like, even teased at all. But and then we came back and then eventually did show Axel backstage, like, laid out. It was obvious that, the Shield just laid him out. And then Miz said, you weren't going to be my fifth partner anyway. So could we just continue, tension between Axel and Dallas with the Miz? Again, like making them feel useless because they could have been the ones who felt take out the Shield, but that's not going to happen. So it looks like Axel and Miz might just go back to being jobbers, even unfortunately. Reigns and Strowman being feud of the year, I think it's highly possible. It did a really good job putting over Strowman. So I think that's highly possible, T and Couponer. So anyways, though, but Axel was told he was not going to be the fifth partner anyways. The match happened. I won't lie. I did get a little distracted because I had to take an important phone call during this match. But the match still was good for what I saw. These two really went at it and put on another solid match. There was a point where it looked like Roman Reigns was about to escape the cage, but then the bar came out, climbing the cage, trying to keep back in. And Ambrose and Rollins came out, even though they were supposed to be at ringside, and pretty much fought off the bar. But then here was a smart move by The Miz, who's out on commentary. The bar and Ambrose and Rollins end up being in some parking lot. And then Miz secretly, shut the doors. That way they couldn't get back in to keep them out. That way it could be just, Strowman and Reigns, because, The Miz, knows he can't take down Roman Reigns by himself, but he knows Braun Strowman can. But there was a couple times where, there was the superplex from the top of the cage. There was Reigns went for the spear, but then Strowman got threw up in the air and hit the Superman punch on him. Strowman kicked out, and then he did hit a couple more Superman punches before setting up for a spear. But then this is where the surprise came in. Like, I thought that they were going to get a fifth partner. I thought it was going to be a returning Samoa Joe, I thought. But then the fire hit, and I'm just like, wait, what? And then they played it, which was more of an updated song, but it was Kane's music. I'm like, what's Kane doing here? Like, I was really confused until I thought about it through. I'm like, oh, okay. If he is coming into this match, I realize why he probably is. He comes back. His music hit, but it did seem like that. The Miz and Braun Strowman, were expecting this. Like, in character wise, they were expecting this. Kane came out from underneath the ground and just targeted Reigns to hit a couple choke slams on him. Strowman hit one running power slam, and then Kane hit another hit a tombstone pile driver on him, and then Strowman hit another running power slam for the victory. And then The Miz announced that Kane was going to be their fifth partner on their team. And that's how Raw went off the air. So I was surprised. I was not expecting it to be Kane. I did not expect it to be Kane at all. I thought it was going to be Samoa Joe, even Curtis Axel. But Curtis Axel's kind of like a sloppy pick. I love Curtis Axel, but the WWE has no intention of making him into a big star, unfortunately. And yes, that's what I think is going on. T and Coupon. I think Kane is back to get revenge on Roman Reigns for retiring his brother. But you think about it too. That technically Kane's now the heel. He returned as a heel, even though he was on SmackDown as a babyface before he left last November. He was supposed to be running for mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't know if he's still in the campaign or just a one-time thing or whatnot. But it's obvious that Kane is back, in my opinion, just to get revenge on Reigns for retiring The Undertaker. But again, why should we be booing Kane for that? We should be cheering Kane for that and Ron for that because, they're targeting the guy who retired, a man that people love. But, Roman has to be the baby face, blah, 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 all that shenanigans. So it is what it is. But I thought it was a big surprise. I'm all right with Kane being the 5th member of this team. Again, just the fact of it being just the fact of it being, 2 more people on the team than just having a 3-on-3 kind of like still has me scratch my head a little bit, but I still think, it could be a good match. Despite the pay-per-view is going to be kind of really poor booking. I mean, most of these matches weren't really announced till last week or this week, so they're just thrown together. It feels like you only have like a 2-week build or something. So we'll see what happens at TLC this Sunday. Before we go off the air, let me check out my polls on Twitter. 8 votes, 50% said A, 13% said B, 38% said C, and nobody said anything below C. So I'll give this Raw a C. Had some things I liked, some things I didn't like. I felt like it could have been, a stronger go-home show than it was. I mean, didn't really feel like at times it was much of a go-home show. But, we'll see what happens Sunday. This as long as it's not, battleground terrible or whatnot. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, TN Couponer, for joining me in the live chat. As always, please make sure to click that like and subscribe for more content to come to this channel. Also, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. I'll try to maybe, record my review of WrestleMania 8 real quick before I go to bed and then watch the dreadful WrestleMania 9 tomorrow. But I'll also be doing my turn alert tomorrow on Kane, top 10 topics, Raw edition for October. And then I will also be reviewing SmackDown and NXT this week as well. And sometime this week also I will make the match card for NXT TakeOver War Games. So that is it, guys. I am checking out. Until then, guys, have a good night.